we're going to be doing our week ahead readings using the Moon deck. I'm going to go through quickly, show each of the cards. Card number 1, this is your opportunity to test your intuition. Tune in, see, do you have any sort of a connection to this card? Do you think you'll need to pay special attention to this reading? And then we have number 2. And I'm going to go through each of these a few times, give you an opportunity to look for contrasts. You're just looking for an energetic difference. Do you notice anything within yourself? And it can be very quiet because often intuition is very quiet. And for anyone who's interested in developing their intuition, I like to remind people I do monthly classes on Insight Timer. I'll put the September psychic development class in the chat. So it's on the 24th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So that is a live workshop. It's a Q&A where people will ask me questions or share stories, and we'll discuss them, break them down. And then also I set up some games where people can experiment with the different clairs through a variety of activities. So this is always a really fun one, and people have a good time. So that will be towards the end of this month, just a few weeks out. But if you would like to attend, great opportunity. I'm going to show the cards one more time. This is card number 1. And then separately, if you want to work one-on-one, I opened up a mentorship program in June. So for psychic development, I have one-off 2-hour sessions with me. So you could just book them ad hoc. And then I also have a 4-month mentorship. So if you have questions about that or want to see if it's a good fit for you, feel free to send me a message. We can chat about it. And here's card number 2. Last time. Wonderful. And feel free to throw in the chat if you felt like you connected more with card number 1 or card number 2, or there's a combination of both. It's always nice to have the little check, see where the group seems to be at. And welcome to all the new people. Week ahead for September 8th through 15th, what do we need to know for card number 1? It's immediately, it reminds me of this game. I don't know if people know this. It's like Traffic Jam, where you have the cars like that you're moving. So you're sliding the cars on the road so that you can have the clear route to get. So I'm not seeing it from the perspective of the actual game, but the name came in, and the view I was seeing was like from the perspective of being in the car. So it's as if the car is moving and you're kind of going quickly and just trying to dodge all the other cars because you're trying to get to your location. You're trying to get out of traffic. That's like the general premise of this game. So I was seeing us from the perspective of being in the car, in the driver's seat. So there's a feeling of a rush energy because we're trying to get to the destination. And is that okay? Sure. Sure. Sure, it's okay. Because it has the energy of like, it feels like it's what we're supposed to be doing. So labeling it as like healthy or unhealthy or functional or dysfunctional is not really the point. It is one of those for you. And you may know if it is right away when I'm describing this, but regardless, the messaging is just that we are, the expectation is to be in this type of space and mindset. So anxious for forward motion and trying to get to the destination. That's the general feeling here. Are we rushing all week? Want me to write down that's a mindset. So it sounds like we just have a lot of mental activity going on in this first reading. So we're really trying to get somewhere. We want to get to the destination, but it's because there's just such a concentration of what's happening up here. It doesn't feel like we're in a situation where we're actually, again, the language was coming in around. It could be that this behavior is actually unhealthy for you, but it's not coming across as it's so much so that like this is dangerous. It's just that it's not necessarily serving you. And for some people, maybe you need some of this energy. So again, it's not like it's a clear positive or negative. It's depending on your situation. If this is supportive for you, because maybe you're someone who's a little bit more slow moving and all of a sudden you're like, have this sense of urgency and really want to get going. And that could be really positive and something that you need because you've been feeling defeated or down or sad or exhausted or whatever it is. And this is like the jolt that you need to go. I can flip it over, but I want to know. Okay, fine, I'll ask after. This card is the wild card. I unleash my wildness and choose to be free. Now, I find this fascinating based on what I just said, because we're talking about this card that's like, woo, it's going, it's moving aggressively, if you will, assertively through and amongst the cars. It's maybe going rogue. So there's a big sense of freedom with this card. Sometimes when I pull this, some of the message is, actually what just popped in was free your mind. So because we're talking about being stuck potentially up in here or just like in a lot of mental energy and activation, again, depending on how this is presenting for you, this could be something that would be really helpful, a jolt to support you, but we are trying to free from the rules of the road. Again, this is not literal. I am not making recommendations to drive unsafely. This is just the metaphor that we have. So being able to color outside the lines that feels safer to me in explaining it in that way. Coloring outside the lines, breaking out of the mental traffic jam that you have, the buildup that you have. I unleash my wildness and choose to be free. So the question that I was wondering is, are we just in this mode all week? Is there a specific catalyst? Is there something that is coming up to? Feels like it's like a specific catalyst. I just keep getting over and over again. It depends on the person, depends on the person, depends on the person. So whatever it is, wherever you are at, you going rogue, being especially wild, it could be because you are being boxed in, or you are allowing yourself to be boxed in. So there's just so many different applications here. That's why I keep getting jumped around a lot. So it could be that this assertive action is reinforcing a dysfunctional pattern of impulsivity. Someone who's a little bit more timid or who is hesitant, conservative, passive. And so this is something that you really need. It feels maybe a little bit out of character, but it's super supportive. And then depending on your situation, maybe some of this energy is a little bit more in the mental space. You have the traffic jam that's up here, things that you were thinking about that are mental blocks, overthinking, exhaustion, exerting too much. So then maybe some of the actions that you're taking of going rogue or just getting off the path, like not following what it is that other people are doing or the expectations. So again, many, many different iterations of how this could be presenting for you. But it does seem that there's some sort of a catalyst this week that is triggering this shift, and that you were in it for, this feels like on average, it's like a 3-day stint. It's this kind of burst of passion, enthusiasm, motivation, shift in behavior. And then kind of coming down from that peak, you can decide what you want to keep, what you want to maintain, what you want to infuse in your routine or your practices, what you regret, what you want to do a little bit differently. Oh my gosh, people, I just realized this. This is amazing. We have like a blood moon situation, which is kind of what's associated with the eclipses, like having like the eclipse that we just had. I know when I was able to see the moon, it didn't actually change color, but that does happen for some moons. But it's a full moon, and we are just coming off of full moon energy. So we're kicking off the week in this space, which I think is pretty interesting. I unleash my wildness and choose to be free. And if anybody wants to borrow part or all of that mantra, you want to use that this week, live in that mindset, absolutely up to you. If you feel like you need a little bit of that, you need the reminder to free your mind and color outside the lines and other versions of this that are safe. in metaphor. And yeah, that might just be, it comes across like there's medicine in it. And we're just taking it in a small dose, Automatically is coming across like I'm getting a very opposite energy. It feels much more about conservation, like conserving is the word that's coming in. Yes, and that in some ways it's about our energy, about our reserves. This feels like really, this is, for anyone familiar with astrology, this is like Taurus energy. It's really grounded, it's weighted, it's slow. It's like I've got to be comfortable. I have to recharge my battery. Don't talk to me. I'm over here with a blanket and a cup of tea. That's kind of the vibe of this. Like it feels heavy, but um not in a way that's like of overwhelm. It's just like really dropping in. Like it's wanting to be seated, not wanting to run around or move or go somewhere, to be settled in, to be comfortable, connected, but in a way that's not overstimulated. I think that's why the like don't talk to me thing was coming in. Like maybe for you, a way that you want to relax is to be in the company of others or to be in conversation. And how it's coming through is like, but finding a way to do that allows you to not have to exert yourself as much. So it could be you're just doing it for shorter periods of time, or instead of getting together, um, or having somebody come over, you're doing a FaceTime. You're writing somebody a letter. Like it feels like really just trying to have it move slower, be more analog. It just feels like I'm sitting here talking. It's like all I want to do is just take like really, really big, deep breaths. Like if you meditate or you don't meditate, like maybe doing some of that this week, like putting on meditation music, get it from Inside Timer, sit there, just like lay down or sit, stare out a window, um, look at, pictures or images, or do some sort of a craft or activity like a vision board, something to that effect. But I'm getting brought back to like what your mind is doing. It's as if it's knotted and just like allowing that to come undone, just like to unwind itself. And then there's just so much about this grounding piece, like really sitting in quiet, in just like connection to your breath and your senses, but in a way that you're not overstimulating, you're not engaging them too much. It is giving the energy of a staycation. Like if you can, even if you can't actually take a vacation or time off or anything, it's trying to fold this energy in like from the minute you get off this call. This is a like, let's do this all week. Let's allocate having more peace, slowing down. Like, what's your schedule for the week? What do you have on the calendar? What to dos do you have? What can you take off? What can you eliminate entirely? How can you free up just some time every single day for some peace, for a reset? How can you approach the things that you know that you have to get done, the places that you have to be? How can you approach those slower? So how can you set yourself up so you're not rushing to get to that appointment and then you're all amped up? Or how can you try to, enjoy talking to the person at reception and just like ground a little bit? Like, how can you add a little bit of slowness into what you already have to do anyway? How can you create more space to be slow or be actually inactive entirely? And try to live in a way this week where you can be calmer, grounded, really connected to your breath, really centered and rooted. Like, it's like, this is the challenge. Like, can you do that all week long? And just you wake up each day and you just recommit to that as, how can I make adjustments today so I can live slower? We have the desire card. I craft my core desires with certainty and ease. Let's all have a collective inhale, exhale, and laugh together, because ease being on this card. The entire energy of this card is what I was just saying. Okay, there's things that we want to do, things we have to create to have our day functioning, our lives operating, yada yada. But how can we create without holding on, clutching on to everything, trying to be in control? Again, that's like the lower vibrational side of Taurus, is wanting control. We're going into the high vibe, which is, how can we, this is like slightly different than trust the process, because I have a whole other card for that in this deck, but how can we just release a little bit? How can we, like, she's not rushing to create this potion or, whatever it is that she's doing. But she's taking it in. This is very sensory, also perfect for the energy of what we've been talking about. Living in alignment. So she is moving towards her desires, the things that support her, that tend to her, with the certainty, that's the grounding, with the ease, that is the relaxation, without rush, not trying to force anything, not trying to overdo it. AJ, love the grace and ease of the second card with the child on the way. Oh, and currently working with a cold. Oh, finding the space to rest while the brain is so busy preparing seems totally resonant. Wonderful. Yeah, I think I'm in this camp too. As I was talking about it and then the message was coming through, I was like, that sounds really nice. I need that. Reading number 1, we had the traffic jam reminiscent of the game, but we were in the driver's seat. We were from the perspective of the car. We are weaving in and out, rushing to get to our destination, really trying to move forward, trying to get there. And depending on you as an individual, this may be actually healthy, because maybe you have been more stagnant, you have been inactive, whatever it is for you, that this is a jolt, this is a boost of energy that could be really supportive to just like get you up and going and feeling inspired. It also could be unhealthy because it may be impulsive or risky, not considering different side effects. So all of that depends on your specific circumstances. The core of it seemed to relate to the mindset, so like a mental traffic jam, and you could be feeling a little bit preoccupied, and that may be what is springing you forward in the unhealthy realm. And we want to think about it from the perspective of drawing outside the lines, going a little bit rogue. And this was stemming from a catalyst, some sort of event, something that transpires, and you have like around a 3-day period where you have this boost of action and wildness, which is our card. And then as you come down from that, you can assess, look inward and say, was that healthy? Was that not healthy? Do I want to take something from that? Do I want to learn from that? Do I want to integrate that into my life if it was something that was supportive? So our card was the wild card. I unleash my wildness and choose to be free. This could be also freedom from the mental traffic jam. I had free your mind pop in while doing the channeling for this. And the final note was that there is medicine in this experience, whichever way it ends up going, high or low, there's medicine in it. And it's just a small dose. It's just the few-day period of time where we have that jolt, that boost, that sense of action and forward momentum, and we'll see what happens on the other side and just process it on the other side. We had a very, very different energy for reading number 2, which was all about slowing down, conserving our energy. And it was very much a Taurus energy, our fixed earth sign, seeking quiet, calming, grounding. Like I was feeling a lot of heaviness during this, but not in a sadness or dysfunctional way, but just like, I just want to focus on taking deep breaths. I don't want to like run around and do anything. I want to be able to sit in a quiet corner, calm my energy back. And if you are someone where connecting with other people is not avoidable this week, or that it does help you to relax, then there are ways that you can adjust around that. And there were a lot of recommendations that came through. One of them being, right after you watch this, however many days you have left in your week, maybe you have the full week, considering it to be a challenge every day. I'm going to wake up, check out my schedule. Is there anything I can cancel? Is there anything I can delay? Is there anything I can delegate? Is there anything I don't really need to do? I could table it fully. How can I move slower today? How can I live slower? And maybe that is creating quiet moments for yourself, or it's just being more present in your schedule, in your day-to-day, trying to have the breathing room. One, literally through connecting to your breath and grounding, but also so you're not rushing. You're doing the opposite of the first reading. You're not rushing from place to place. How can I get there slower? How can I really take in the experience, but not in a way that is overstimulating? So this brings us to our card, which is the desire card. I craft my core desires with certainty and ease. Ease is the priority here. When we move with certainty, we're moving with intention. We are going slowly. We are not rushing. When we are in a state of ease, we are relaxed. We are supported. So we can act. We can plant seeds. We can move forward. We don't have to be stagnant, but it's coming from the perspective of a calm, a groundedness, and just making sure that through the process, we are tending to ourselves along the way. 2 different energies, one of them being rushing, going, circumventing, action. For the second reading, we're not in total inaction and passivity, but we are moving slower intentionally. We are grounding into the present moment. When we are moving quickly ahead, we're focused on the destination. That is future focus. This is present focused. So that is the main distinction. So if as we're going through this week, you're uncertain because you're like, well, I am making forward progress. That does happen in both of these. How do I know which one it is? That is the main difference. Do you feel calm? Do you feel relaxed? Reading number 2. Do you feel amped up? Either like feeling really inspired or motivated, called to action, passionate, driven, ambitious. That's reading number 1. So the energetics of these cards are very different. Now, for the first reading, we had a catalyst, this just being more of a short term. For the second reading, this is a choice. This is you wake up every day and you're choosing to participate in this. It takes effort, but with ease. It takes intention in order to actually be living this way. Again, living slower. This is just like, I'm just doing my thing. I'm going. And some of it's because I'm in my head and maybe I'm not clear about it until later. Both of these could have the mental component and that they are connected to what is going on upstairs. But the approach, the response is very different. You have to use your mind to make the decision every day to commit to living a little bit differently for the second reading. And for the first reading, your mind is either steering the ship or the car and is in charge, or you are kind of bursting that cage open because you're leaning into the sense of freedom. Like, I'm throwing it all out the window. And that is really the point of intersection, because maybe you are someone who has been stuck in more of the loop and and overthinking. And so when you are freeing your mind on the high vibrational side for the first reading, you have the catalyst, you go all in. Maybe that is even having the overlap here that you are trying to think about things differently. You're trying to approach your schedule and how you spend your time in a different way. And so then maybe the first few days of doing this challenge for the second reading, you're like, yeah, this is great. This is awesome. And then as the energetics, the sense of inspiration around it wind down, then maybe it gets harder to stick to it through the rest of the week, or just the enthusiasm wanes. But maybe that's actually a positive because you actually start settling down. Because remember, this is activated, this is in a state of ease. So you could be feeling especially inspired or amped up, and it takes a few days of doing this and making this adjustment and trying to break yourself out before you can settle into something that actually does feel certain because it's grounded, but allows you to unwind, unclench, and release a little bit more.